Hey, what's up guys? It's Nihilus with another Star Wars video. So I hope you guys like this video because this is going to be my top 10 moments in The Mandalorian. It wasn't easy to pick 10. I went back and forth for a while, but I feel pretty good about my choices. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Wait, they said 50 years old.
Alright, to kick off this list, we have the end of the first episode. And man, was this such a special moment for not only the series, but Star Wars as a whole. This really was an amazing moment, and I can't be grateful enough for Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and their efforts to keep this a surprise for the fan base. Like, I had no idea where Disney was going to go with this show, and I just couldn't believe that they came up with a Baby Yoda. Like, this scene and the inclusion of Grogu in the show is exactly what Star Wars needed coming off the sequel trilogy. And outside of a droid, who could hurt that cute little face?
No, please! Please! No!
Okay, so the scene before this really hurt. Like, earlier in the episode, Mando leaves Baby Yoda with the Empire, and I'll be honest with you guys, I was pissed. I was fucking pissed. I was hurt, and I hated Mando. Like, I really did for a little bit. And the more that time goes on, after he gives the child away, I think Mando starts to hate himself. And luckily for us and the child, he didn't even have to get off the planet before he rethinks his decision. So I'm just glad that we didn't have to wait until later in the season to have that whole situation resolved, because I can't imagine the feeling of waiting week after week, just imagining what had happened to him.
Scan incomplete. 10 seconds to system shutdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Okay, at number 8, we have Mando taking off his helmet, and that cannot be overlooked as an important moment, because at this point, we're all pretty familiar with the Mandalorian way and Din Djarin's dedication to it. Mando truly embraces being a Mandalorian, and his willingness to break the code in order to save the child says a lot about him and how he's changed since we first met him in season 1. I do think we all did slowly see him go from diehard Mandalorian to loving father. Who wouldn't with someone like Grogu? But this really was a tipping point for Mando, putting Grogu over everything he's believed in for most of his life. And I do think that the inclusion of Bo-Katan opening his mind to the idea that there are different ways you can be a Mandalorian did have a little bit to do with his decision. But I'll still say that if Bo-Katan had never existed, or he never had an experience meeting a non-Creed Mandalorian, the result would be the same. And at this point, Mando has completely accepted Grogu as his son, and that's exactly what this scene means.
I'm afraid you're gonna have to speak up to him a little bit, since his vessel lost pressure in Taynap.
I think we all knew that having a Baby Yoda, outside of being absolutely adorable, meant that he was going to be Force sensitive. Yoda being one of, if not the greatest Jedi ever, to me, meant that this child was going to be special. And potentially just like him. I mean, maybe even better. But man, at the end of episode 2 in the first season, we get a glimpse of the child's Force powers. And wow, like, I know he's 50 years old, but he's also still a baby. So it was really cool to see him use the Force and to save Din Djarin, and also stopping an animal the size of a mudhorn is no small feat by any standards. So to see that connection between him and Grandmaster Yoda was really special to see.
In a way, Grogu and I can feel each other's thoughts.
Grogu?
Yes.
The inclusion of Ahsoka Tano is a wonderful addition for The Mandalorian. Rosario Dawson absolutely nailed her performance as Ahsoka. And with that, we got a really important moment in the franchise. Ahsoka, being the only other Force sensitive in the show at this point, is able to connect with Baby Yoda and actually feel his thoughts through the Force. And with this, we get some answers to burning questions that we've had for the entirety of the series. We get the child's name, Grogu, like somehow just perfect for the little green guy. It's catchy, it's cute, it has some personality to it, which for a guy who doesn't really talk is very fitting. We also learn the history of Grogu and the fact that he's actually already a Jedi. He's a Jedi youngling who was raised on the temple on Coruscant. This really gave us so many more questions about Grogu, like who took him from the temple? If I had to pick somebody, I'd go with Mace Windu. There's been no evidence at all that Mace survived his encounter with Darth Sidious and young Vader, but Star Wars is no stranger to changing things and adding characters after the fact. So who do you guys think saved the child? All right, so we've all seen the different depictions of Mandalorians. They're in the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, the Knights of the Old Republic series, and one thing is clear about the Mandalorians is that they look out for their own. So when all seemed lost in episode 3 of the first season, I cannot express the joy that I and other fans of Star Wars felt seeing the Covert risk everything to save their own. And that's really what I take away from this scene, is that at this point, the Covert considers Baby Yoda a Mandalorian. And Din Djarin obviously cares for him and is risking everything to save this child. So if Din Djarin takes in the child, then the Covert takes in the child. Like, this is the way. Although not chronologically, technically Boba Fett is the first Mandalorian in Star Wars. And it's kind of amazing the attention he got from fans in the original trilogy, considering how little time he had. So to get back the original Mandalorian after all this time, and in such stunning fashion as well. Like, dude, this scene is badass, okay? So watching Boba just wreck stormtroopers in such a primal, violent way is really fitting for him. And man, when he gets that armor on, the music, blowing up the ships, Slave One, just everything. Like, oh my god. So it's a really nice touch also to see how much respect he has for his father. It's not just that the armor that he wants back, it's his father's armor. So Jango was obviously a good and caring father, judging by the way that Boba talks about him. So this was the moment that we were all waiting for. Moff Gideon has been the big bad guy for pretty much all of the show at this point. And to see him and Mando face off in their inevitable duel was really, really cool. Moff Gideon's pretty good with the Darksaber, but not better than a true Mandalorian. In all of this, Mando's not really concerned with the sword. And he's even willing to leave the Darksaber and everything else behind for the child. All he wants is his son back. And that's all we wanted either. So this scene is really setting up for a conflict in Season 3 between him and Bo-Katan. I haven't the slightest idea how that's going to go. But I'm definitely looking forward to it whenever the 3rd season drops.
You're sparing my life. Well, this should be interesting.
Jedi.
Okay. Do I even need to say anything about this scene? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, this moment is pleasing to my soul. Like, you guys have all seen the reactions. I'm sure you've all had a similar moment yourselves. I was screaming, dude. Thank you to everyone working on The Mandalorian for this beautiful moment. This is our Luke Skywalker. This is the real Luke Skywalker, not some fraud from the sequel trilogy. Luke saving the day for everyone is so fitting for him. His skill is impeccable. I mean, he was cutting through those dark troopers without even trying. And that's exactly what we expected. This is the Luke Skywalker that we've dreamed about for decades. So, what part of this scene did you guys know that it was Luke? I actually paused the show when he was getting in the hangar, and I got up real close to the TV and saw R2. And then, of course, when I saw that the lightsaber was green, I just completely lost it. And then again, when he uses Force Crush on that last guy, like, I just can't say enough about that scene. Wow. Okay, so there are a lot of really good scenes in The Mandalorian. I struggled for a while to pick my 10, so these are some honorable mentions that just missed out on the top 10. So I figured I would share them with you guys because it is just so hard to pick only 10 good scenes from anything Star Wars.
You and I were a lot alike. Willing to lay our lives down for the right cause. Which this is not.
Get this thing out of here.
Wait. He's trying to eat me.
You go on. That's who you belong with. He's one of your kind. I'll see you again. I promise. It's time to go.
Okay. This one is easily the best moment in the series, and it's really one of the best moments in all of Star Wars. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I've cried multiple times watching this scene. I mean, who hasn't? You know, I mean, I've even done it in the editing process of this video. I'm still a little hurt by this. It stings, but this is the right move. Luke is absolutely right. Grogu will always be in danger until he masters his Force abilities and can finally protect himself. And I think that we all knew that it was supposed to end this way, but maybe, I guess I thought that they had a few more seasons before we got to that point. I definitely wasn't ready for the goodbye, but honestly, whoever is ready. This moment is so touching to watch Grogu embrace Mando after he takes off his helmet so the child can finally see his father for the first time. And it's kind of like Vader in Luke in Return of the Jedi. So it's strange how that works out, isn't it? But Mando crying, I mean, him and Luke nodding to know that the child will be very well taken care of. This really is a perfect moment. And then, of course, to get R2 to break the ice in the end, him actually recognizing Grogu. I mean, it's these moments why I love Star Wars. So yeah, that wraps up my 10 moments in The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2. So what are your guys' top moments? I mean, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of varying lists out there, but that's the beauty of Star Wars. That's why it's as special and revered as it is, because it can mean something a little different for everybody. So once again, let me know your favorite moments from The Mandalorian in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more stuff. I'm putting out Star Wars videos weekly, so I'll see you guys around next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.